Hey, what's going on, guys? Aarava here. Welcome back to another episode of my F1 2018 mod career mode here with Fernando Alonso in his McLaren here for round number 13 at the Belgian Grand Prix around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Obviously, episode number 11 as we skipped over the French and German Grand Prix. But if you did miss the last episode, episode number 10 at the Hungarian Grand Prix, then be sure to go check that one out before you see the rest of this one. But coming to the Belgian Grand Prix, we've got an upgrade package for the McLaren car, so hopefully we'll be fighting a little bit harder maybe than Hungary. Obviously, Hungary was a really great episode for us, and we were fighting pretty damn high, but of course we had to do a bit of defending, and we got a little bit lucky with a few things here and there. But this time around, hopefully we can fight on merit, and it should be a pretty interesting Grand Prix with the high tyre wear around. The ultra soft tyres already did wear quite high around Belgium anyway, so it should be quite an interesting one in the race. But let's go ahead and get into the full starting grid before we go on to the race. So here's how the starting grid then looks for the 2018 Belgian Grand Prix, and it's going to be first blood then to Lewis Hamilton, and both Mercedes cars locking out the front row then, looking very, very strong indeed around Spa. Obviously able to flex their muscles with the engine power down all those various straights around Spa. But Hamilton and Bottas not too far off from Sebastian Vettel. Vettel very close behind in third place then to lock out the second row with his teammate Kimi Raikkonen in fourth place then. And not too far behind them is Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen. In the race, the Red Bulls may have better race pace and better tyre wear, we're hearing, so we'll see how that goes for them in 5th and 6th. But not too far behind is then in 7th place for a change Fernando Alonso, obviously the man we're driving as, in 7th place. Best of the rest really ahead of Nico Hülkenberg, and of course, like I mentioned at the start there, the McLaren upgrades coming into fruition. So Stoffel Van Dorn in 9th place. We're looking a lot stronger as a team here coming to this race, with Romain Grosjean then rounding out the top 10 in 10th place, with Carlos Sainz now in P11. Best of the rest outside the top 10. He'll have obviously a free choice of tyre, the first man to have that, with Kevin Magnussen then in 12th place, as Renault continue to fight Haas and Force India actually in this championship constructors battle, with the next row completely Sergio Perez and Esteban Ocon in the Force India's P13 and P14. Very familiar sights for them. Then it's all Toro Rosso, Brendan Hartley and Pierre Gasly P15 and P16 respectively. This time around doing the better job to actually get ahead of the Russian of Sergei Sorokin, who last time out did a great job in qualifying to get ahead of the Toro Rossos. This time can't be, and he's down that familiar P17 for him, with Charles Leclerc in P18, and the last row of the grid, surprise, surprise, locked out by then Marcus Ericsson and Lance Stroll to get ahead to the 2018 Belgian Grand Prix grid. Right, so here we are then in P7, literal best of the rest, and with those upgrades coming to the team, I think both of us, myself and Stoffel Van Dorn, can do pretty well around here. Of course, Renault received an upgrade and a bump earlier on in the season, so looking forward to this one to see if we can try and match them a bit better than was the case in the last couple of episodes. It's going to be a two-stop it's looking like, from the purple tyres, ultra soft tyres, to the super softs. The tyre wear is higher, obviously, in this mod, but I don't think it's going to be high enough for us to consider the three-stop. I think the two-stop should be pretty fine. It's going to be a question of if any of the other cars around us do different things, especially that top flight in the top 6. Obviously, we get a good getaway on lap 1. We could be trying to kind of poke a hole in some of these guys' strategies. So here we go then to 5 red lights to the Belgian Grand Prix. Round of 13, the 2018 season is underway as the lights are out. It's a poor start there from Max Verstappen for the second time in a row now, and a lightning start from Daniel Ricciardo down the inside of Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen, as Raikkonen is pushed wide. The two Ferraris tangle a little bit as Raikkonen has to fully take to the curbing. We're down the inside into P6, cleanly ahead of Verstappen. Verstappen's had such a poor start, he finds himself behind Nico Hülkenberg as well. And so for us, that's just one less car now to worry about as we go down the Kemmel Straight. Obviously, we know how overpowered the slipstream can be around the Belgian Grand Prix, and so here we go straight away already. No time wasted, slipstream Kimi Raikkonen, but he makes an absolutely wonderful brake zone there and sends it down the inside of not only us, but now look at that, he's attacking his teammate Sebastian Vettel. So Kimi really late on the brakes there, very daring. They slow each other up, so we have another look down the inside. Doesn't work out, back out of that early, and Hülkenberg has a cheeky little look on the left hand side, so we do some defending there. And so initially tried to attack Raikkonen, and actually I kind of spurred on Raikkonen, because now he's gone and overtaken his teammate Sebastian Vettel, and now he's the one who's going to be under pressure in P5. So they were pretty damn close to the Mercedes guys, like I said, in qualifying in terms of the lap time delta. Wasn't too far off, but it's Daniel Ricciardo in third place is the one that's looking like to pressurize the two Silver Arrows, who at the moment are still in a 1-2 at the moment. But here we go now, up Rouge, up the hill, onto the Kemmel Straight. Very close stuff there with Sebastian Vettel. A little lift off was needed not to slam to the back of him as we climb the hill, but now we're up into P5. Rich mix momentarily down to standard now. Of course, we can't afford to really have it in rich mix for too long, because the fuel just burns away so fast in this mod, but good overtake there, using the slipstream to good advantage, and obviously kind of hurrying it up, because I think the earlier we get these passes, the better, because I think later on in this Grand Prix, you'll be seeing these guys maybe streak away from us a little bit, but here we go. A fight between the two Mercs, Hamilton v Bottas. Bottas on the inside. Hamilton is the one having to re-overtake as he's lost it off pole position, and he's trying to regain the lead of this Grand Prix. So it was initially Valtteri Bottas who led away the Belgian Grand Prix, but Hamilton on the outside now trying to retake that lead, but Bottas fighting well and fighting back, and he keeps the lead now. So the Finn doing well. Hamilton has to settle for second place. You can see there Ricciardo and Raikkonen pretty much nose to tail, and meanwhile behind it's going to be Hülkenberg who's overtaken Sebastian Vettel. So Vettel really struggling in this Grand Prix. Of course, it's pretty much been Vettel v Hamilton in the championship so far, so that's pretty crucial for the championship fight to see Vettel go down so far down the order, and it looks like it's a Ferrari issue, because Raikkonen now slowed to turn 1. It was a late dive bomb from us. I didn't really expect to be making that move, but we have done, and so on lap 4 we're up into PE4 as the tyres do start to go off. So I'm going to think about maybe coming in at the end of this lap. The default is around lap 4, so you can see the rear tyres on lap on percentage of 38%. So yeah, pretty soon, probably thinking about coming in, but meanwhile we've got more things to worry about, because we could maybe sniff a top 3 at the moment, because it's two Mercedes cars still fighting at the moment. Hamilton had a look, clearly nothing came of it. He's still in second place, so Bottas is the one that still controls this race. He's controlling the pace for sure, because he is going a little bit slower in this sector as we now really close up to Ricciardo, and equally Raikkonen right on the back of me. So the top 5 all very close nose to tail, so really good signs here at the moment for this entire race in terms of a fight at the top end. But now here goes Ricciardo on the back straight as we go down towards the bus stop chicane on the double left-hander here. Ricciardo down the inside already. He keeps it side by side. Hamilton does, but Ricciardo is going to keep his foot in there on the loud pedal, and he's going to get it up into second place then. So he splits the two Mercedes cars, and like I said, the Red Bulls, or at least one Red Bull, Dan Ricciardo, is looking pretty strong in this race. But on the end of lap 4, here's the cue now. Hamilton's come in. I'm going to go with him, and we're going to both come in for our first pit stop then. So I was already considering it, but kind of slam dunk decision then to see Hamilton come in. I thought I'd cover him off, as we have a good opportunity to maybe try and chase him shortly after this pit stop, to maybe overtake him down that back straight, up the hill, down the Camel Straight. But we actually have a great pit stop, and we nearly made contact. Thank God for the ghosting system, but that could have been a nasty crash if there was no ghosting system implemented. But a very great pit stop from the McLaren guys means we almost jumped Hamilton. If we were maybe just, I don't know, maybe 2/10 faster, I think Hamilton and Mercedes would have been forced to have stopped and paused for a second to let me go through, but it was so close that they decided to go through anyway, and so the ghosting system had to come in. A bit of a shame, to be honest, because it would have been a lot funnier and a bit crazier if there was a crash mid-pit lane. How crazy would that be in the new game if something like that was possible? But we make the overtake anyway on Hamilton using a double slipstream from Lance Stroll there. So just showing once again, it's been a case now for the last 2 games now from Codemasters. The slipstream around Belgium is so powerful, and pretty brilliant in a way, because it does mean there's some fantastic racing with the AI, not just player on AI, but AI to AI. They love to make overtakes around here with the slipstream possible. Here we go now on the other Williams car of Sergei Sorokin, and it will be Brendan Hartley in the Toro Rosso. It's going to be close as Hartley closes off the racing line a little bit, so we have to duck into the left-hand side, lift off a little bit, and we just about make it through, riding the curb a tiny bit, and we're up into P16. Definitely was a little bit of a bated breath as I made that move, as I didn't really know where Hartley was going to go and park it on the apex of that corner. But now we are up in a bit of clean air as we cross the line now onto lap 6. We'll get up a few more positions, up into P11 it will be, and we're now behind Marcus Ericsson, who we will catch up later on into the lap. And unfortunately, actually for me, I can't find a way past at the moment with a bit of dirty air kicking in from that Sauber, and he's so slow on the apex. Bit frustrating, definitely losing maybe about half a second there through that sector. But now onto the back straight here, we should have the slipstream to overtake him. A little bit hesitant of where to go, left or right. In the end, I chose the right, and a little bit of grass on the right tyre as Ericsson gives me a good old squeeze. And actually, I think it's 3 wide at the moment, as Bottas is there as well with the proximity hour. A bit of contacts made, yellow flags, and I think, yeah, Bottas is there. Bottas has made the move down the inside of both of us. So it was 3 wide, big contact on the front left there. And Bottas out of nowhere has come through to make that overtake. So surprised, and you can just see that's how much time I lost then behind the Swede, because Bottas was pretty far back. But now I'm having to fight him into turn 1. Lock up on the front right tyre ahead of us. I think that is the Red Bull car of Daniel Ricciardo, perhaps. No, that's the Ferrari of Kimi Raikkonen. Sorry, I look blue in the distance, but no, it's the red of Kimi Raikkonen. So around the outside then, as we go up the hill of Bottas, fantastic overtake then to get that place back on the fin, but now we have to chase after another fin of Raikkonen. So initially I thought the undercut was going to work pretty well, but the overcut for Kimi Raikkonen has worked wonders, and he's re-overtaken me, and I think he might be in a net first place, because I believe Daniel Ricciardo is behind myself and Bottas, and of course I already overtook Lewis Hamilton there. So I think in a net first place is Raikkonen, then it's going to be second place myself, and then Bottas in third. But meanwhile for Hamilton, more issues for him. It's a big puncture blowout on the right rear tyre, and into the bus stop he goes straight on, but thankfully he's able to slow it down, but he has to try and get this back into the pit to try and save his race. He's not out of the Grand Prix yet, but you can see now clearly the way that Mercedes car is rocking about. It doesn't exactly have the power to maybe get over this curb, and I think he gets stuck on it and has to also wait for all these cars. Such poor timing there to have that puncher in terms of all those cars he has to wait up for, but he's going to get back into the pits. Bit of damage then on the pit entries. He's unable to turn the car simply with a right rear puncher, but real shame then for Hamilton, the man on pole position. So at the moment it's not going swimmingly for a lot of big hitters. Obviously Verstappen already had the poor start to this Grand Prix, and now Hamilton from pole to, well, stone dead last I would assume with that puncher, and he's already made a pit stop, so that will be an extra pit stop for him as we now try and go around the outside of Pierre Gasly, who's going long on the soft tyres, but the virtual safety car comes out. Really bad timing for me, as I literally was about to overtake Gasly. Now I have to wait patiently for the end of the virtual safety car, and now we're going to do a pretty Fernando Alonso style kind of move here. Wiley Fox, wait for the time to go green, and straight away we'll make that move and pounce on him, and we're up into P7 now. And now we've got a clean stretch of clean track to try and chase after Kimi Raikkonen, who I mentioned is going to be in the net first place. So I'm at the moment in the net second, so we're doing pretty damn amazingly in this Grand Prix. But the thing is, I don't know what Bottas and Ricciardo have got up their sleeves. I don't know if Bottas is going to come back into this Grand Prix. I don't know what tyre Ricciardo is on, because Ricciardo went very long on his first stint. I mean, Raikkonen did as well, but we can clearly see Raikkonen as he overtakes Sergio Esteban Ocon there, I should say, in the Force India. He's on super soft tyres, but I don't know if Ricciardo is potentially going for a very cheeky one-stop, because remember, cast your minds back to the last episode of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Ricciardo tried a one-stop there at the Hungarian Grand Prix. I'll put good money that he's going to try the same exact thing around here. And around here, it might work, because you lose a bit more time in the pit stop here at the Belgian Grand Prix than you do around Hungary. And also, the fight here in the top 5, kind of directly due to me, has been a lot more fierce than it was at Hungary. So Hungary, you know, Vettel, who got the victory in that episode eventually, was able to just go flat out in clean air and catch back up to Ricciardo, who's trying that one less stop. Whereas here, I don't know, I think we might be concentrating too much on fighting. And speaking about fighting, here we go now, overtaking Raikkonen pretty cleanly with the DRS open in lean mixture, actually to try and save some fuel, as I knew it was going to be a slam dunk overtake with the amount of overspeed we got and slipstream, and coupled with DRS of course. We were going to make that pass, but now I'm into P1. Now we just try and go as long as we can into this Grand Prix for that second pit stop, which will be onto another set of super soft tyres. But the thing is, you know, Raikkonen or Bottas might come back at us later in the Grand Prix, and we fight enough, Ricciardo might have a good thing going, because look at that in the top left. It's not only Ricciardo who might be on soft tyres, but there might be a few others. As we come into pit lane now, clearly very worn super soft tyres, but Ricciardo is now into the lead of the Grand Prix on soft tyres. Raikkonen's going to follow him on super softs. It's Van Dorn also on soft tyres. So my teammate is also trying a one-stop here. So he's going to be ahead of me, and he's going to have track position. I'm going to have to legitimately overtake my teammate here, and also maybe also Sergio Perez, he now comes through on soft tyres. Yeah, so we've got 3 cars in the top 5 here. Ricciardo, Van Dorn and Perez all on soft tyres, trying a one-stop here. You've got me, Raikkonen, Bottas all on 2 stops. And we're going to have to see if we're going to have the base to actually re-overtake these guys to get back into what would be our kind of rival positions. But fair play, they're trying the bold strategy of a one-stop with the higher tyre wear in this mod. And we go around the outside of Sergio Perez, almost cook it too much into that brake zone there, but we do get it under control. And now we've got a bit of clean air to try and catch up to our teammate now in P4. And it will take us just about 3 laps to do that as we move on to lap 17 now. So only a couple of laps left in this, to be exact 5. And we're right at the back of Van Dorn, who is also on the back of Verstappen, as we almost hit the back of him. So once again, narrowly missing a collision there. But right up the back of Van Dorn now. We're just going to have to be patient. I don't have the exact overspeed to make the move to the inside like we did on Bottas earlier. So you can see how close I am up the hill. Very cool shot here on board with us trying to overtake Van Dorn. They're so close, inches away from making contact, but now on the left-hand side, DRS open, we'll get that up into P3. Van Dorn might put up a fight, though, in the brake zone there. He's still on the inside, but then in the second phase of the corner, we're able to get it, and now we're up into P3, but now it's a chase after one of two Red Bulls. Max Verstappen in second place here, and then Daniel Ricciardo in first. Raikkonen nowhere to be seen, so it's all down to us really to see if we can do anything to dent 1 and 2. I think we'll be able to get Verstappen by the end of this lap. You can see we're closing up and we're keeping up. He's not exactly getting away from us in the corners now. Through Pouon there, slight lift off and then flat out in 7th gear, right the curb momentarily on the outside, and then just commit to the rest of the corner, and Verstappen doesn't pull away from us, and actually if anything we gain a bit on this next right-hander in 5th gear, letting the car roll through a little bit of a blip on the throttle to try and get the car settled down and down into 4th gear on the right-hander. Use the curbing, a little bit of a tank slapper, but we control the car and now plant the power. Rich mix, and now down this back straight we can just sit and relax, and you're about to watch the absolute OP slipstream here around Spa as we gain on Verstappen on the left. I was unsure if we're going to catch up in time to make the overtake down the inside, but we have done, and we're up into P2. But now there's a humongous gap to Daniel Ricciardo, and the thing is, he's got pretty good pace. I mean, even if we catch him at the same rate we did Verstappen, there's not going to be enough time. We simply don't have enough laps. There's only 4 left as we go on to lap 18, and so Ricciardo might just have this. Someone else who's got issues is Valtteri Bottas with an engine smoking, and so it's going to go from bad to worse for Mercedes, and it's an absolute disaster of a Grand Prix. From locking out the front row of the grid, it's going to be Hamilton out the points, down the order, and Valtteri Bottas completely flat out of this Grand Prix, and so it's going to be 0 points for Mercedes. That's going to be pretty damn big for the constructors and also the drivers as well. As I said, Vettel and Hamilton both fighting each other. Both of them had bad days this race, and Ricciardo is the one who's come out on top to win the Belgian Grand Prix. Fair play. Second place for us. What could have been? I think we might have at one point had this win in our sights here, but Ricciardo, fair play, second time of trying this audacious one-stop versus the rest of the grid, and he's made it work this time to win the Belgian Grand Prix. But like I said, for the Drivers' Championship, I think Ricciardo was, he's been pretty consistent in the last couple episodes, so I think he's going to gain quite a bit here in the championship. With Vettel and Hamilton both scoring no points, I think Vettel did end up outside the points. I think that's going to be pretty damn big, and also for Red Bull as a whole, initially from what was a pretty bad start for Verstappen, he's got 3rd place, so 1st and 3rd, that's a pretty good consistent makeup there for them. So they might be trying to maybe close the gap on Ferrari and Mercedes. Of course, both of them have been so dominant in this career mode so far. But for us as well, pretty exciting time. 2nd place, Van Dorn finishes quite high. The upgrade's definitely working quite well, so the next couple episodes might be quite tasty for us in this mod career mode. There you go then. Daniel Ricciardo wins the Grand Prix, Alonso 2nd, Verstappen 3rd, Van Dorn 4th, so really strong showing then for us as a team. Sergio Perez 5th place, good showing for him. Carlos Sainz in 6th place. Raikkonen does eventually get 7th place, but yeah, really all-round poor showing for Ferrari and Mercedes as a whole, with Kevin Magnussen, Nico Hulkenberg and Romain Grosjean to round out the top 10 in that Grand Prix. But it's a bit of a day for the underdogs, I guess you could say. And look at this now. Daniel Ricciardo leads the Drivers' Championship by 2 points, 155 to 153, and then down to 146 for Sebastian Vettel. So it's uber close, actually. This championship fight's really starting to come through there. It's a 3-way title scrap between Ricciardo, Hamilton and Vettel. Something like, I guess, we're kind of hoping for in real life, but definitely in the game at least, it's coming into fruition there. And obviously for us, we're now ahead in over 100 points, 108 to 124 for Valtteri Bottas. We'll try our best to maybe close down that gap to Bottas. In the constructors, though, it's going to be still Mercedes out on top, 277 to 274. So only 3 points in it between the Constructors' Championship for Ferrari and Mercedes, and Red Bull aren't too far off now with 252. So it might be a Constructors fight also on our hands later on in this season. But guys, if you have enjoyed the episode, hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, do get subscribed for weekly follow-on content. I've been Aarava. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.